Welcome back. Pro-life groups in Texas are suing, demanding the FDA rescind its approval of a key drug used in abortion. Their suit claims the FDA improperly approved the drug more than 20 years ago without doing adequate safety testing. Let's bring in my guest tonight, legal analyst Tracy Pearson, back up late with me tonight here on the Final Five to talk about it. Tracy, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Up late from the West Coast.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's always great to be here with you. And it's really not late here. It's really only 8 o'clock.
Rub it in, why don't you? I want to get these names right. Mifepristone and Mifepristone. It's not, they don't roll off the tongue easily here. But clearly in the court of law, what's at odds here is these pro-life groups who say that the research wasn't done, that these medications, these drugs that are used in abortion that can be taken at home as opposed to a surgical abortion are dangerous. And the judge is appointed by former President Trump. Many people believe he could come out with a ruling favorable to the plaintiffs.
Absolutely, and you're right. Those two drugs do not roll off the tongue easily. So we're going to call them drug number one and drug number two.
There you go, yeah.
All right, so drug number one is the one that this group, it's the Alliance for Defending Freedom, is attempting to have taken off the market. Now, what we have to remember about this drug is that it was originally approved in France, developed and approved in France in 1986, and it didn't come over to the U.S. until 2000. It wasn't approved. Or rather 1996, it didn't get approved until 2000. So it took a full 4 years to go through the approval process. And what they're saying is that it's dangerous. And the way that they get there is that they claim, according to 3 doctors who filed declarations, that they've allegedly had patients who have suffered injury and they've had to treat them in emergency rooms. So these doctors didn't even dispense this medication.
So right now, at odds here, the judge here, Judge Matthew Kaczmarek, who, as we mentioned, was a Trump appointee, could come out with a ruling on this. We don't have any idea. It could come at any moment. There was a good chance when we booked you on the show last night that we could have had a ruling. We don't have a ruling on this yet. But, you know, a lot of people have said when Dobbs was struck down, you know, that took care of one procedure, that governed one procedure. It appeared that the medications were going to be the next logical target for the pro-life crowd.
Exactly. And if you read the complaint, one of the things that that this group says is that, well, they can get surgical procedures, that's what they can do. But unfortunately, what's happening is in a number of states across the country, they're closing down clinics and making those impossible based on the legislation that's being passed. So really what they're trying to do is eliminate the ability to have an abortion. And that's going to create problems countrywide, because if this judge issues an injunction, it will be a nationwide injunction. Even though there is no legal authority to do that, there would be a nationwide injunction, and that could impact states like California and Kansas.
We know likely if there was an injunction that came down very quickly, you would have an appeal by the DOJ, the Biden DOJ at that, where you would likely see a push for an emergency stay. But, you know, again, it's not a surprise, I would imagine, at least from our perspective covering this was sort of the logical step here, because we are in this post-Roe v. Wade, this post-Dobbs era here. And it just brings to mind the fact that, you know, people who were passionate about this situation certainly turned out at the polls in November, stemmed what many believed early on would be a red wave. There are political ramifications that cut both ways on this.
Absolutely. 2/3 of the country is in favor of abortion being legal in some form. And so this lawsuit is in essence deaf to what the nation is looking for. It is absolutely pushing an agenda. And I would argue that this case has been filed in a court using forum shopping to find a judge that would be favorable to, in fact, preventing this drug from being distributed, which is why you're hearing across the country that various clinics are stockpiling this drug in the event that the FDA is ordered to prevent it from being dispensed, or rather being distributed.
The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists says Mifepristone is safe and effective. The other thing that they've been looking at targeting here is the idea that it was a little easier. For example, you could get a prescription for this. You didn't have to necessarily show up at the pharmacy. In some states, they were doing away with that, or at least that's what they're seeking to do, is tighten the ability for somebody to go to a pharmacy and get this as well.
Absolutely. The original protocol required you to go to only a specific kind of provider and to take it there. It required 3 doctor's visits as opposed to 1. And now you can obtain this drug very easily if you need it. If it's something that you are not, you don't have a medication, let's say that you're taking across purposes. But the fact is that it's easier now. So what they're attempting to do is a couple different things: either get the drug completely blocked from being dispensed, or to put in the old protocols to make it more difficult, to frustrate the ability to get an abortion using a medical means as opposed to a surgical means. And the fact is that this drug is safer than taking steroids.
We know, regardless of how this turns out, I mean, it is a polarizing issue, and yes, public opinion says that you do have more people on the side of keeping abortion legal in some way, shape, or form, but still something that stirs up a lot of deep passions on both sides. Dr. Tracy Pearson, always appreciate it. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. It was great to see you.
And the Final Five is back after. Hi, the Final Five is back after this.